Welcome, 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 everybody. I am so glad that you joined in today. First, I want to make a public service announcement. If you can tell, I am not Darwin, but this is Truth to Power. And first, I want to thank Darwin for inviting me here to co host today in his absence. So, thank you so much, Darwin. But I am Kimberly Clemens, and I love to be called by my name, Kimberly. And I do want you to know that you are in for a special treat. I am Kimberly Clemens, the host of Chats and Chuckles. That's coming to you soon. But today, we are doing Truth to Power. So I want you to meet our special co-host and guest here today. We are not going to prolong this hour. We're going to get right into it. So first, I would like to welcome the wonderful, magnificent Pastor Overman.
Hi, Kim. I am so excited to be here this morning, and I am also very grateful, although I can never fill the shoes of Mr. Darwin Griffin, who's supposed to be here, but of course he's doing major community work outside of the state of Michigan this morning. But we are just so grateful, looking forward to the deep dive in the conversation that we're going to share with this amazing friend of ours who is an impact leader in the state of Michigan. Danny, I can't wait. I just can't wait. Kim, you got to do your introductions and all. And you know, Darwin gave us all those assignments. Like, make sure we mention his name, talk to God for him, and then really make it happen with Danny. We're excited today.
Well, thank you so much. And then I want you to briefly meet our good friend here, Mr. Danny. Danny D is who I'm going to call him because he is the big man in the community. Welcome, Danny.
Thank you so much. Such a privilege and honor to be here on this show, to be with two such amazing women, leaders in the community. It is my privilege and pleasure to be here today. So thank you for having me. I'm so excited. I think that the name of this show speaks to the importance of this show.
Yes.
Truth to Power. Truth to Power means telling the truth to people who don't usually want to hear it.
Absolutely.
And so I think that's a great concept. I love that concept because people in positions of power need to know the truth about what's going on in the community. And so that just the title alone for this show had me sold.
Yeah.
So, it's a privilege and pleasure to be here.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you both for being here. I want to start with you, Pastor Overman. If you could just kind of tell us just a little bit about who you are.
Okay, so I'm Pastor Velma Jean Overman, and I'm the Executive Director for Operation Refuge. And you know, Kim, I'm also the VP for Western Wayne County's NAACP, and I have a ton of hats that I wear.
Yeah.
But today I want to share information regarding Operation Refuge as we look at the state budget cuts and the national budget cuts and what it's doing to our families regarding food insecurity. So I want to lift up those that can support and help Mother's Pantry as we feed over 400 families monthly. Yeah. And that challenge is they're going to cut the benefits in November for our families. Yeah. So I want to make sure I lift Operation Refuge up this morning, and that as we talk about justice and we talk about social justice, if I'm hungry, that changes the game.
Absolutely.
Right.
And that is so powerful, what you do in the community. And we're so grateful for what you do. And I know that you do that starting in Inkster.
Yes. And thank you for saying that, because every time I'm here, I always leave out important things like where and who are you? So yes, Christ Temple City of Refuge, our church, that is a big part of our outreach. And whether we're taking kids to the United Nations, we're working with STEM at the government level, we are very engaged with making sure that when we talk about God, that we really allow people to see his hands, his heart, and have his ears to listen to the needs, and to use his voice to speak love to one another. We were just sharing with Danny when I found out who his sister is over at Access, that we all have somebody that we're talking to that we probably love the same person or the same community or the same work, right?
Yeah.
So we do this work out in the city of Inkster. We're very grateful to do it. I met Danny through our mutual friend, Safe, and the work that we've done at the NAACP, and he was so engaged with the city of Inkster. Mm-hmm. So whether you think about the very young people or myself, a true senior citizen, we get the opportunity to work with just everyone across the board. So I feel honored to know that you and I do so much work together, whether it's the NAACP or the relationship with my brother, Mark, my biological brother.
Come on,
right?
that's my
coach.
coach.
You better shout him out, right? So we're all really working to
Yeah.
make sure that those that are underrepresented and don't get an opportunity to have their voices heard, that we speak on their behalf and we speak with that truth to power.
Absolutely. And I want to say that it really has been a pleasure knowing you. I know that we do serve in the community together, like you said, with Western Wayne and NAACP. And I just want to share, if you remember, that when I had reached out to you when my niece and nephew, we had taken them into our home. My sister had
Yes,
completed
yes.
suicide.
Yes.
And I was directed to give you a call. And we had never really, done business or anything together. And you said, come here. I have some things for you.
Yes.
And I met you, and you blessed me with a lot of things for my niece and nephew when we first took them in. So I thanked you publicly before, but you were nowhere around. So I want to thank you publicly now, because that really meant a lot. And a lot of times when people are doing things in the community, they do things for people they don't know.
Right.
And you did not know, really know me, and to have a heart and be willing to give freely, that really meant a lot.
Thank you.
So to see you in action, a lot of people don't get to see you in action, and unless they are in need or they may read about you, but to really see you in action, it was really a beautiful thing, and I really appreciate you for that.
Thank you. And I'm doing a lot of work with families that find themselves, as we were talking in the green room, where life changes. It happens for so many of us. Mm-hmm. And we get the opportunity to really be there for people. And
you really do. And
that's powerful.
So
right?
So that was one thing. Then a few years later, there was a program that she was offering for the youth.
Yes.
And she reached out to me to invite my nephew. And it was such a blessing to him, because he's not a talker. He's not a person that, is really outgoing. But he really took to that program and learned a lot in that program.
Thank you.
So you're doing very impactful things to people, in the community, not just for adults, but for the youth.
Yeah.
So you're really standing by what you do.
UN.
I saw that. I saw that on social media.
So just really think about that. A group of kids from Metro Detroit, where the governor, and not our current governor, but one in the past, dissolved our school district and tore down all the buildings, right? That's the faith he had in the city of Inkster. But out of that community, the kids are now represented around the world.
Amazing.
They were with Nobel Peace Prize winner Rebecca Irby. Think about that for real.
Amazing.
And that's the kind of work we're doing, right? And as you get right into everything and you begin to talk about your experiences and how it's touched that large sweep where there's children, adults, those with mental health care, those incarcerated, we all, veterans, we all are making that impact. And I just feel so honored this morning to sit with the two of you, because as we say these things about me, it's really multiplied with you two.
Absolutely.
Right.
Now, are you from Inkster?
Yes. Yes.
How big of a blessing is that? So not only are you from Inkster, but you're still in the community giving back.
Yes. And
that's
very
beautiful.
Thankful. And I could be wherever I want to be.
That's beautiful.
But I choose to stay there and serve.
Yeah. And being a woman of your word, good character, good integrity, that goes a long way. And, when we meet someone like Danny, coming just, into the community like a force.
Yeah. Right.
I said that Danny is literally almost everywhere. And, when things are happening in the community, Danny's right there. I have been serving in the community for years, been seeing Danny for years, taking pictures with Danny for years, and did not know who Danny really is.
Okay. Well,
so, Danny, can you give us just a little snapshot?
I can give you a little bit. So first, of course, I'm a director for Team Wellness Center.
Team Wellness.
Team Wellness Center is the largest mental health provider in the state of Michigan. We're very proud of the work that we do in helping. We probably service the most vulnerable community in the state. We do 24/7 crisis intervention. We partner with various police agencies to send out co-responders so that if a resident is in mental health crisis, instead of a a regular, police officer showing up. They have specially trained, CIT officers, that crisis intervention teams.
Oh,
that show
so Team Wellness are the people that the officers connect with to send out to the community
So
first?
the officers go out with the community. We go out with the officers. We have what's called a co-responder.
Okay.
So the therapist, she goes out with the officers and they de-escalate the situation, and then they bring them to our crisis unit. We have 2 crisis units, one in Western Wayne in Westland, and one on Mack and Mount Elliott in Detroit. They're 24/7, and it's not just for officers. Anybody that's in crisis can walk in and say, "Hey, I need help," and we'll admit them. Of course, we have bed space, and we will get them stabilized. We will get them back into, back into their treatment program, whatever it is. If they don't have a treatment program, we will put them into a treatment program.
That's amazing.
We partner with D-Win on that, one of our favorite partners.
D-Win is amazing too.
Yeah, so we work with them on making sure that that Wayne County has the best mental health services in the state.
Because it's needed.
It's definitely needed.
Absolutely needed.
And so I do that. We also do juvenile jail diversion for children. That's a personal passion of mine because of my personal life story. I'm making sure that kids don't end up incarcerated.
Yeah.
That kids don't end up incarcerated. I think that's, they always say it takes a village. But it really takes a community to keep these children out of jail, and it should be everybody's job, because no kid was ever born bad.
Yeah.
No kid was ever born bad.
I believe that. I believe that.
Most children are the product of their environment, unfortunately, and we know that some environments are not conducive to a successful future.
Yeah.
When you have to take the kids of Inkster and transport them throughout the county so that they can get education instead of down the street like every other child that can just walk to a school district. I walk to school every day. Nobody in Inkster can just walk to school.
Wow, I remember that, growing up too, there was a school right around the corner from us. It was called Clinton. It's no longer there. They made it into like a park. But, like you said, how important it is that when you have those schools in the community, families do benefit from it. The community is better, right?
It becomes a community center. It becomes the hub for the families, for the children. It becomes a hub, their safe zone and everything. And of course, I'm certain the children of Inkster are getting a great education throughout the Metro Detroit area.
Right.
Whether they're going to Dearborn Heights schools or what are some of the other
Romulus, Taylor,
Romulus, other
City,
Taylors.
Wayne, Westland.
But again, they're having to be bussed all around.
Detroit.
Yeah.
So
but then you're not getting that camaraderie from knowing the kids that you grow up next door to. Right?
Exactly.
We're not cheerleading together because we're in different districts.
It's unfortunate.
Right?
I think the entire Metro Detroit area suffered the economy went up, it went down, and things happen. And people, I think the most disturbing thing for me is when people make choices about a city that they don't know anything about.
Yeah.
If you're leading from upstate, talking about Inkster, what do you know about Inkster? For Detroit schools, we do the clap-ins in Detroit schools.
I just saw you at Gompers.
Yes,
Yeah.
and so we love doing the clap-ins to cheer the kids coming in. It's very important. DPD schools they're always out there trying to make sure that they provide the best resources. And the ironic thing is, when I talk to people and they tell me about Detroit schools and they're like, "Oh yeah, the schools are bad." I've walked in these schools. They're amazing schools. Honest to God, I told somebody the other day, I think it was at Gompers, I said, this school is nicer than the one I grew up in.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful school.
Yeah.
The city of Detroit has invested a substantial amount into building new schools. I think they just said they're going to build a new Cody High School. Is that what they're going to do?
Oh, yeah.
So, they've invested. Anybody who said the city of Detroit hasn't done amazing things has not walked into these schools.
Yeah, and the thing is...
Could they be better? Yes, everything could always be better.
The schools are getting a lot better. Like you said, they're doing the upgrades and things to the schools. But when you think about the people that they're hiring and putting into position, the heart of a principal, the heart of that assistant principal, the teachers that care. Because back in the day, remember, those teachers, you know, when we were coming along, those teachers were really, really, they were hard on us. You know, they were connected with our families.
Absolutely.
The neighbors knew, you know, what was happening with us, whether it was in school or, you know, down the street, whatever the case. So those are the things that we want to continue to uplift, like our
Yes.
teachers, the ones that are really doing, you know, that great
I'm-
job.
and nobody does more important work than your teachers and probably
agree.
your police officers.
I agree.
Yeah.
One keeps you safe, and one makes sure that the future is secure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the part that we all know
And
is
firefighters,
that-
don't forget the firefighters.
Yeah,
Right.
but the part that we know is we have to make sure that they are vetted and well paid so that they are on the job and we have the right people,
Come on with the
Right.
pay, right?
right? Because,
Yeah.
you know, you can be excellent, but you have to live
Yeah.
and the quality of life. So we got to make sure we reinvest in those
I
that
mean-
keep us safe and the educators.
You have to ask what value they bring to the community.
That part.
And their value is priceless. I mean, you
Right.
can't
Yeah,
really, you can't
priceless.
put an amount on somebody who is helping to, form a child.
Yeah.
And you have to appreciate the work that they do. And for me, of course, I think anybody who has the patience, and it's not easy. Don't think that anybody who thinks it's easy.
Try it. Look, try it.
Yeah, go do it.
There's so many things in life that people want to
With
criticize.
no pay. With
Yeah.
no pay.
Just comment
There's
on
so
that.
many. There's so many parts in life that people criticize people, but have never stepped one step in their foot.
Yeah.
So take a walk in their foot, in their in their
Those shoes, you're right.
Yeah.
and see where they're at. So we do that. We do juvenile. We do jail diversion also for adults. We do have our own residential reentry center for people coming home.
Also, to fight recidivism, tell
Yeah.
me more about
So
that.
very important for us that we remove the barriers for people coming home from incarceration, whether it's
Oh,
from the
that's
county
good.
jail or from the Michigan Department of Corrections or the Federal Bureau of Prisons.
So barriers like my license, I mean.
So there's so
Tell
many.
us
There's
more.
society has placed so many barriers on people coming home from prison, so that when they fail, you can blame them. But the reality is,
Okay.
it's very hard to come home. I've had to help people coming home after 47 years of incarceration.
Oh my goodness.
To get an
Wow.
ID.
So it's like when you come out of the system, there is another system that's
Oh, there's a
set up
whole
to
there's a whole
prevent you
mountain in
from
front
moving.
of you. There's a
Wow.
whole mountain, and nobody should be incarcerated for 15 and 20 years, and then come home with no skills.
right.
It
So-
is a different world than it was in 20 years ago.
Right.
I just
Right.
feel like it's such a waste
Mhm.
Oh wow.
of what it's called the Michigan Department of Corrections. The Federal Bureau of Prisons. They call them federal correctional institutions. The locations. So they're supposed to be correcting behavior and stuff. So give them the skills.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, you don't have to go to college to be rich.
That part.
If you're a plumber, you're an electrician, you're HVAC, you're going to make more money than me. I guarantee it. Because, so I get houses and I renovate them, and, I try to do invest. Let me tell you, anytime a plumber walks in my house, my pockets go empty. So, I mean,
That's
if you
true.
can do that,
That's true because
If
I
you can be
tell
an
you,
electrician.
you need that plumber.
Hey, my son is 2.
and AI is not going to replace. AI is not replacing a plumber. He's not
No.
replacing an electrician or a carpenter. I'm telling you, or a mechanic.
Yeah,
These
you're right.
types of things are always in
Wow,
need.
that
They're
is
always gonna be
something
in
that we got to remember. AI cannot do everything.
It can't do any of that stuff. It can't do any of the physical
None of
stuff,
the
and
skilled
we
trades.
need it. And so they should be training all those individuals incarcerated with those skills.
Yeah.
You should have programs in prison to help them. So when they're released to us, what we do is our job is to make sure that they get the treatment they need if they have a mental health condition. Also to wrap them around in supportive services, employment specialists, housing specialists, all the different areas that they're going to need. We navigate the IDs for many of them. Big shout out to Kathy Garrett and her team at the
Okay.
Wayne County Clerk's Office.
Yeah.
They're they're amazing for what they do for guys coming home from prison. Honestly, Wayne County leads the way
Oh, that's
in making
good to
That's
sure.
good to know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Kathy
Shout
Garrett,
out Kathy. She's a
Kathy
friend
Garrett and
of
her
mine.
team
Oh, that's
are amazing
cool.
at what they do. I can reach out to them at any time, explain to
Wonderful.
them the situation. They will, I'll provide them the documentations that we have. They'll tell me if we need any more, and then they'll make a special, appointment for them to come get it right away, get their birth certificate, so that we can go get them their ID,
That's
And
really
because
good
without
to
ID,
know.
you can't even start out. You can't start anything.
Yeah,
I can't
and
get you health
you
insurance.
know
I
what,
can't
when
get you
you
a job,
think
I can't get
about-
you a housing, bank account, nothing.
You know, thinking about those barriers that a
Yeah.
person may have, it is good to know that a person like Kathy Garrett is out there supporting, because you know, during election time or something, we always hear all kind of different
good.
things about people, but something like that is extremely important, especially when you're going to vote. But I want to ask you about Team Wellness. I remember that I came and spoke about domestic violence awareness, and I believe it was at the Team Wellness that was near Eastern Market.
Yeah, right across from
Okay.
Shed 5, yeah.
Okay. Now, is that a facility that also has all of the resources there?
So
for
all our resources, all our facilities have the similar resources. So we have a location in Eastern Market, across from Shed 5, Mack and Mount Elliott. We have our primary, so we do also, so we're integrated care. So what does that mean? We do primary care, dental care, and mental health.
Wow, you
Really?
do all
Yes.
of that.
So because we know the
So
body.
it's a healthcare center also.
Oh yeah, it's a one-stop shop. All our locations try to be a one-stop shop. And
Supporting recidivism and reentry. How
Yeah.
is that possible to be doing all of that?
So all our locations are connected. We run buses through. We have our own transportation. So if you're in our halfway house,
That's like somebody didn't hit the jackpot.
yeah. So
Because you,
here-
can, you
here's the
really can
amazing
get
thing.
the help
When
that
I started,
you need.
I'll tell you this.
That's
When I
amazing.
started at Team Wellness Center, and I realized exactly what it was, the services it provided. I immediately reached out to the Federal Probation Office, and created a partnership with them, which was irony all by itself because of everything that was going on with me.
You have to include the audience in all of these amazing
So-
things here.
Okay, so the irony was I was on supervision at that time. I just came home after 28 years of incarceration. I was sentenced to life in prison. I was supposed to die in prison. Life in the federal system is that you die, they put you in a box, and they mail you home to your family.
I don't know about the audience, but I'm sitting here, my mouth wide
I'm
open.
very thankful that did not happen.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
but look at Danny. He does not look like what he's been through.
And I serve on the board for the National Sheriff's Association now, for the Ignite program. So I'm on executive board. There's 3,084 sheriffs there. That's why I wear this little pin right here. I'm very honored for that. So when I came home after 28 years of being, I left as a teenager, 19 years old, and I came home. I'd never been in trouble in my life, and I was sentenced to life. I was supposed to die in prison, but I never really believed that. I felt like God always had a bigger purpose for me.
Oh,
And
here
we
we
see
go.
that.
Here we
Yeah.
go, right here.
And so,
This
while I was
the
in
hope,
Darwin's going to get us for not praying.
The
but God
hope.
knows we're about to go there.
the
Bring it to us.
hope, the belief. So there is truth. When
Yes.
you believe something,
100%.
it will manifest.
Well, I believe you have faith.
That's
And
right.
if you don't lose your faith, see, I never
Yes.
lost my faith. So because I had faith while I was incarcerated, I got my degree from Indiana State University.
Come
I
on,
created 12
degree.
different programs while I was incarcerated.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I graduated over 10,000 people from those programs. And then here's the best part: I created a program. It was a cognitive behavior class.
While in prison.
Yeah. I created a bunch of programs in education, and that program eventually, my judge that sentenced me to life became part of that program. He used to Zoom in before there was Zoom, and talk to my graduating students on how to use the court as a resource rather than an adversary. And it was amazing. It never happened before in the Federal Bureau of Prisons. I was in federal prison. It had never happened before. It was the only program throughout the entire bureau system that had a federal judge as part of its curriculum. And he just
Wow.
and it was such an amazing experience for the guys, because any other time that they had been talking to a judge, whether it was a federal or state judge, they were getting lectured on what they were doing wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
This time they were getting encouragement
Encouragement
on how
and
to use the court,
and they're
as a
like an
resource.
ally
Yeah.
Yeah.
that they need in
And I-
life.
And I
The
never
most unlikely ally, right?
and I never let the guys know that he was my sentencing judge.
Wow.
I never let them know that. They didn't know that till one day he mentioned it. And the reason was, I didn't want anybody to scream out to him, "Hey man, let Danny out. Why are you So I didn't want that.
Disrupt the class.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So it was always a great experience. Eventually, after the First Step Act was passed, I was able to file a motion for compassionate release. Steve Fishman was my attorney. Everybody who knows Steve, you know who Steve is. And I write law. I always like to say that I write law better than most lawyers. And my judge at the time granted me immediate release.
Isn't that something?
It was.
It really
I walked
is.
into a room a quarter the size of this room, maybe big as this table, with a life sentence. I was on the phone. It was a hearing over the phone, and the government was saying don't let him out, but they really didn't have anything to say other than don't let him out. They couldn't really give a reason why I shouldn't get out. I went 28 years of incarceration with no incident reports. I had got my degree from Indiana State University. My prosecutor, who is now a federal judge, wrote a letter in support of my release. I do a program with him every year now. I just did it last week with Judge Terrence Berg. He was my prosecutor, and he wrote a letter in support. He was the former U.S. attorney.
You're bringing tears to my eyes.
The room was this small, and I anytime I get frustrated out here, I remember that day, and all of a sudden, any frustration I have, dissipates immediately.
I want to tell you that you have just given a phenomenal testimony. And to look at you and to know that, just watching you over the years and serving, I know that there's a lot more questions that we have.
Oh, God, yes.
So I'm going to say to the audience, please take a break with us, but please come back, because you do not want to miss the second half of us learning more about our special guest here today.
Absolutely.
So we'll take a quick break. Come back with us.
Feel good about your future with tuition-free programs at Wayne County Community College District. Whether you want to be in healthcare, computer science, the culinary arts, digital media, or robotics and automation for the next generation of vehicles, WCCCD has you covered. A full range of programs to achieve your goals, fit your schedule, and give you all the support you need to be successful. All of it tuition-free. Now there's something to feel good about. Register today at wcccd.edu.
Every Monday through Friday from 12 noon to 3 p.m., it's the Tavis Smiley Show on WHPR TV and Radio 15.2. Also seen on Roku, Fire Stick, Apple TV, iPhone, and Android. That's the Tavis Smiley Show on WHPR TV and Radio. Download the WHPR TV app for iOS, Android, and Roku. The Tavis Smiley Show, distributed by RJ Watkins Studios.
Clean up on aisle 5. Sounds like my life right now. Just one big mess.
What's going on?
It's my property taxes.
What?
I am behind, and I am so worried that I'm going to lose my house. I can pay some of it, but I can't pay it all at once.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm Eric Sabri, the Wayne County Treasurer. The last thing I want is for anyone to lose their property to tax foreclosure. We have assistance programs to help.
For more information, go to treasurer.waynecounty.com.
We're here to help.
All media platforms are engaged. Copy. Get ready to launch your show or product. Periscope ready. We're 5x5 ready to launch. Copy that. Trend worldwide across all major platforms.
Ignition. 3, 2, 1.
The world is waiting. Watkins Broadcasting. More than just TV.
Block time is available. Get yours. Call 313-868-6612. That's 313-868-6612. Executive producer RJ Watkins. Program director Henry Tyler. 107.5 FM. WGPR HD3. RadioWeCanSee.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for coming back. I don't know about you, but I'm telling you, I feel like this is a magic moment.
Yes.
You know, to really experience what Danny had been talking about. I don't think I would have ever guessed, you know, that a person could achieve so many things behind bars. And to look at you, I would have never guessed that you were behind bars. 28 years.
Yes.
28 years. So one of the questions that I want to ask you is, how did you stay motivated?
Oh, that's a good question.
How did you stay motivated? Because you know, like sometimes you may think, you know, a person prays, you know, but weary times, you know, did you get weary a little bit? You know, like kind of tell us that experience that you had.
You know, I'm going to say in the sense I always tell, it's a question I get a lot. You know, it's, you know, how did you stay motivated? You had life in prison, you were in there. And honestly, a lot of times when I used to talk to people in prison and they realized I had life, it would stun them. They were like, how's this guy so positive and he's got life? I like to call it irrational hope.
Oh, I like that.
Irrational hope, honestly.
I have to write that down.
It was a hope that probably didn't exist. You know, they always say there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
The reality was there was no light at the end of the tunnel for me. That was the reality. But with faith,
Yes.
I put that light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
I just put it there. I put it there myself, and I stared at it every day, even though it wasn't really there. But I knew God said, if you believe in me, I'm going to see. I'm going to test you.
How
there
powerful
was many
is
frustrations
that? No, wait.
in prison.
We're both chaplains.
How
right?
powerful
We're
is
both
that?
in ministry,
Yeah.
and you have us over here like, yes, Lord.
I mean,
yes.
I was tested. Listen, being in prison is one of the hardest things. You have no control over your life.
Yes.
Towards the end of my time, it was not easy to be in prison because they were making it more difficult to just even operate in prison. They would come up with new stupid rules every day. There's this thing, it was called the green bag challenge. It was ridiculous. Some warden came there that had, you know, that's the problem with the prison system sometimes, especially the federal prison system, is the only way to sometimes to move people is to promote them. You can't get rid of them, honestly.
Oh, wow.
It's just the way that things work. And some of them come up with these ridiculous concepts, and they came up with this thing where they would do these mass shakedowns, and all your property had to fit in this little green bag. So imagine, I've been incarcerated for 28 years. You think I had more pictures than that, and my pictures were very important to me because I would go back and look at those pictures all the time and remember the people that loved me.
Yes,
you know, the
yes.
pastor was just talking
Powerful.
about my sister. My sister fought for me like nobody else. My family kept me afloat. They fought for me. My parents, my siblings. There was nothing they wouldn't do to see me free.
Yeah.
So Danny, I had watched, you know, plenty of movies about incarcerated people, and I remember this one movie. I can't remember the title, but in the scene, the guy was saying, "Stop fighting for me. It's not gonna happen." But the sister and the brother, they kept fighting. They were like, you know, using all of their resources to put it up. Did you ever feel like, you know, with your sister, like, hey, enough is enough? Or did you?
Oh, never.
No.
You were right there
I
with
never
your
stopped
light.
fighting.
Yeah.
You know, I'll tell you what. I was released on September 21st, 2020. I walked out. My family, my motion was granted. You know, so just I'll back up 1 second. My motion was granted on the 17th of September. I was in a little room. We had the hearing, and the judge literally, I was on the phone now. There was no Zoom at that prison I was at. So I was on the phone Zoom, but they were on the camera. And after the arguments back and forth, the judge said, okay, I'm ready to rule, which surprised me. I thought maybe he would take the motion under advisement, but I was like, what's about to happen? And the judge said, okay, before I give my reasons, let me just say right now that this motion is going to be granted. And
Hallelujah.
And I was going to fall out of the chair.
I bet.
I was going to fall out of the chair. I don't know if I should do it here, but I was on the phone, and I was like this, you know. And I was like this, but I had to be respectful of the court while he was talking. I couldn't talk. And he was giving his reasons, and I was like overwhelmed with emotion. I didn't know what to do. I was so stunned. And then when he was done and everything, the government asked for a 30-day stay, and he said, "No, I'm not going to do that. Well, there's no reason
They
for that."
still wanted you to stay?
They wanted a 30-day to hold your motion for 30 days, and then let us
Absolutely
decide if we want to appeal or not.
No.
And he said, "Absolutely not. He's not a danger to literally nobody's done what he's done in
What
prison."
a judge, right?
And he is the judge
And
has.
that
I
makes
love
the
that
difference.
judge. That judge has chutzpah. You know what chutzpah is?
No.
It's my favorite word. It's a Yiddish word. It means overwhelming courage.
Wow.
It's a Yiddish word.
I'm just taking notes
And
today.
he had, and the reason I know that word is my trial attorney Steve Fishman, when I was at trial as literally a teenager, told the jury,
Overwhelming courage.
you have to have chutzpah to look the government in the eye and let them know your story doesn't add up.
Wow.
And of course they didn't have chutzpah because I was convicted and sentenced to mandatory life. But the judge did say at that, he said, "Listen, I have my original sentencing notes. And on these notes, I have my original ones from all the way back then, and they say can only give life." He said that was the only option I had. Here was a 19-year-old guy sitting in front of me, never been in trouble in his life. I can only give him life. I don't like mandatory sentences. I didn't like them then. I don't like them now.
Wow.
But now I can do something about it.
Wow.
Chutzpah. Chutzpah. So the motion was granted. My family actually flew down the next day. But it was Rosh Hashanah, so the courts were closed. So they had to fly back and then come back Monday.
Oh, wow.
They came back Monday, and I remember walking out into all my siblings, and we drove back to Dearborn. It was a surreal experience for me. Just a amazing time.
I can't imagine what that felt like.
Even now, I'm filled with joy. Today, I'm gonna have a great day because you've let me relive that day. I love that day. I remember hanging up the phone after the hearing. So you're supposed to go out and tell the staff member to call. They dial for you. But I was like, screw that. I'm gonna call my sister. And I called my sister, and she was out praying. She was actually out praying, walking and praying.
Wow.
And God
and I said,
those
and she answered, and she
prayers.
said, "What's going on?" And I told her, "It's over." And
Wow.
she's like, "What do you mean it's over? The hearing's over?" I said, "No, it's over." She said, "What do you mean?" And I said,
"Come and
we
give me a
won."
ride.
Yeah, and
Send
she
a
was
lift.
just
Send
overwhelmed.
Uber.
She was overwhelmed. She couldn't believe it. My brother, who's a dentist, he's an oral surgeon. I love my brother. And he got that Apple Watch,
Mm-hmm.
and he was working on a patient. I always remember these stories. And, my lawyer had went right back and emailed my family a short email. We won in capital letters.
Oh,
Thank you, Lord.
And, the government ordered, the judge denied the stay and this. It was a really short email, but it flashed up on my brother's Apple Watch while he was working on a patient. We won. And he was, and he tells me the story, and he's like he had to stop and tell the patient, "I'm sorry, give me a second. I got to get up real fast." And run to his office to call and see what was going on.
Isn't that wonderful?
And to have a family, like that. I know that it was very difficult on the family.
Your family does your time with you.
Yeah,
Nope.
absolutely.
I was honest to God till this day.
Your family does your time with
Till
you.
this day, I was so happy for my mom more than myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody felt this like a mother. A mother feels your incarceration more than anybody. My mother felt it. She would have, I think about the other day I attended the funeral for Carolyn Cheeks Kilpatrick.
Yeah.
And I think about how joyful I was.
Yeah.
That she got to know that when she passed, knowing her son was free.
Yes.
Wow.
That her
that's
son,
something that you never really think about.
that's the only thing I thought
yes.
about.
Oh,
That
yes.
she had she died in peace, knowing my son is free, he's safe.
Yes.
He would be incarcerated if not for the clemency that he received.
Yeah.
They over incarcerated that American Pie, the ridiculous sentence for whatever the crime was. It was just a ridiculous sentence. 28 years for whatever was the most absurd sentence I've heard in my life.
Yeah. I know a lot of people may, have their opinion, but from a person like you that have done that type of time,
it was an absurd sentence for anybody. If he was, I hate to say it, but fairness in the justice system sometimes is lost.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
think he served 8 years. That's plenty of time. You're not seeing anybody. The other day, there's a guy. He was a former congressman. He committed fraud, identity fraud, all types of things. He stole people's identity. That's the worst people for me because they hurt. So somebody steals your identity, they put you in the hole so bad. It's just it's such a personal defeat
makes
for the
it very
victim.
hard in life.
Yeah. And he did all these terrible things. He got sentenced, I think, to 8 or 9 years, And I don't even think he did a year, and the president immediately commuted his sentence. Immediately.
Yeah.
You know, it took Kwame a while to come home, but I was so overjoyed for his mother. And I was overjoyed for him that he was able to utilize his mother to talk about her, to be there, to watch her. I think the thing that scared me the most while I was incarcerated was that one of my parents or one of my siblings, something would happen,
And
I
you would not be
would
there.
not be
Absolutely.
that would have been
Yeah.
devastating for me.
Yeah.
But God had mercy on me and made sure that I came home to a complete family.
Yeah.
And I was able to, spend this time with them.
Yeah.
And
Danny,
so,
you have so much for us to talk about because I want you to elaborate more on the classes and the work and the things you did inside that really moved the trajectory of what you've done outside. Because what I also heard was this happened in 2020. So from the day on the 17th when you left there on 2020, you've become Mr. Michigan. How is that possible? Think about 2020 was the other day and the impact he has everywhere.
so
How did you do that?
That's like mad focus, you know.
So I was released, like I said, in the end of September of 2020. In February 1st of 2021.
Wow, so that's like
That's what I'm saying.
COVID was.
Yeah, it was COVID at
How
the
did
time.
you
Yeah.
do that?
I'm glad it was COVID. Let me tell you why I'm glad it was COVID. Because everybody had to wear a mask, and I always was walking around smiling, like just for no reason. And so people would have been like, "Why is this guy smiling? What's wrong with this guy?" But I was always smiling. I smiled when I walked in the mall with my sister. I smiled when I went to lunch with my nieces. I just smiled all the time because
So Danny, wait a
28
second.
years.
Yeah.
I can see you.
But what did you do? Like when you first got out, what was the first thing you wanted to do?
eat my mom's food.
Eat
I
the
couldn't wait to
food.
eat the food that my mom made.
dinner at home.
I wanted dinner. Yeah, they had a big dinner for me. They were literally. So we drove back. It's an 8-hour drive from where I was because I couldn't get on a plane. I didn't have no type of ID or anything. So when we drove back, and my whole family was waiting for me at my brother's house. They had prepared a big dinner, big party. So I came home.
And
I
y'all
ate.
know how to party.
Yeah, it
When
wasn't.
it's time to party, they know how to party.
And they didn't want to overwhelm me. My family was very protective of me.
Because that's a lot of isolation. From,
Yeah. So
from
they
your life.
honestly they didn't want a lot of people coming over. They just didn't want me to get sensory overload. And so and within 3 months of me coming home, the owner of Team Wellness Center, his name is Tony Policella, the great man, biggest heart you'll ever meet in your life. Tony gives back so much. You guys say, well, Danny gives so back, but that's only because I have a CEO that loves to give back and never says no, especially if it's for children. I don't think I've ever asked that man anything about a donation for some kind of child program, and he said no,
I'm
don't
gonna
do
remember
it.
that with Camp Inspire.
So he's always wanted, if we're able, we'll give back as much as we can. And he reached out to me and said, hey, I've heard about these amazing things you did inside. He had just started this residential reentry for adults. And he said, I want to work on removing barriers for people coming home. And I can hire, doctor level therapists and master level therapists, but none of them can do what you do.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
the
he said
experience
the experience alone is priceless to me. So let me give you a tour of Team Wellness. So he took us for a tour. Honestly, the first location we visited was deep East Side. My sister's very protective of me. She was kind of scared for my safety.
So was
she
this
was
your
worried about
first
it.
job? Or?
Yeah, first job. Yeah. First job in my life, honestly.
Created just for
Oh,
you.
right,
with
because
your
you were
experience.
I was 19. Yeah, I had worked
Yeah.
at some gas stations when I was a kid or something, but this is the first real job. I had never paid taxes before in my life, so when I got my check, I was very surprised. I was very surprised. It wasn't it wasn't what I thought it would be.
What a blessing, though, because a lot of people, when they come out, they have to figure out what they're going to do or don't know how to connect with people, and you had to connect.
Well, I have a friend of mine. We grew up together. Her name is Mona. Mona and our CEO, Tony, are very good friends.
Isn't that something?
And Mona and I, we grew up together, like from high school. And I used to talk on the phone, and she works at Access. And she told Tony, and so Access is very, very, they're very integrity bound. So I could never work at Access because my sister is the chief operating officer. Mm-hmm. So because of that.
Oh, no, what is it?
No nepotism, no absolutely zero.
I'm going to say this really quick.
Yeah.
What just crossed my mind is look at the names of the places that he connected with. Team Wellness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Access.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that is just like divine for
Yeah.
for you to be able to connect with those types
Everything in
of
my life, I believe, was
organizations.
touched by God.
Yeah.
You know,
Talking to you, it appears that's
I'll tell
true.
you this: the story of me getting to the prison, where I was, that where I started teaching my classes, because I didn't start teaching classes when I first incarcerated. But that whole story is divine in nature by itself. It only would have happened. I am only free because God made it be.
Come on, God.
I am only free because God made, and I know that because when I look at the story of how I ended up at that prison, it was literally the one prison I told him don't send me to, but it was the perfect place for me because the head of education at the time, his name was Stanley Pickett, and Mr. Pickett is beloved in the Federal Bureau of Prisons. He is the most respected. He's retired now. He was the most respected supervisor of education because he really cared and wanted you to succeed, and he did so many things to help people that were outside the purview of his job.
Wow.
You know, he would call and get guys tickets dismissed so they could go to the halfway house.
Wow.
And
Now is that a prison where you thought in your mind like it was really bad?
No,
was
no,
the
it was a
reason
very nice
why you
prison.
didn't want to go there?
No, it was some other reasons. It wasn't that I didn't want to go there. Somebody else wanted to go there, so I didn't care where I went. Thankfully, because of who I was, I could go anywhere in the Bureau of Prisons. Your name is the most important thing you have in life. Integrity and character are all you have, and mine are beyond reproach. Honor matters to me. Loyalty matters. Integrity. And you know, my name preceded itself. So I'm not bragging or anything, but if you're a man of good character or a woman of good character, you can walk anywhere.
Wow, and even at 19, going in, I know you fight a lot on the outside for those young people like you were. A 19-year-old going to prison.
Yeah, that's just a
little
kid.
stunning. Yeah.
I can't imagine, 19 in a federal
And I went to
prison.
a maximum security prison where it was the who's who of the criminal underworld. You know, the triads, the mob bosses, the real Aryan Brotherhood, the real Crips, not the ones we have here in Detroit, which I never even understood this. You know, these are West Coast gangs. I don't know how they became. I came home to a society where these young kids, unfortunately, are running around with these flags that mean nothing, and should, that flag is not worth 1 minute of your life. And I know they're just doing it because they want a sense of family, and I'm sorry.
They want to fit.
And I'm sorry that that's the choice they made, but I'm hopeful that we, as a community, are able to get them out of that life.
Yeah.
But I was with the who's who of the criminal underworld. It was definitely a whole different experience. I could probably write a whole book just on my prison experience. But it was a different place. But again, as long as you're a man of good character, if you in prison, whether you're a snitch matters, your case matters. Those types of things matter. And again, my background was beyond reproach. And I the same way I walk out here, my character matters to me, matters than any amount of money. There's no amount of money out here that I would take to sell my integrity. I'm not going to do anything wrong because I'm not spending one more day in prison ever. So people need to understand the value of your freedom. I know the value of freedom.
Yeah, that sounds like a mindset change, a heart change. Everything about you have to change, and even having
be
that
personal.
type of faith. To withstand what you've gone through. I keep thinking about those numbers, 28 years.
That's a
28
long time.
years, that's a long time. And you
Yes.
think
Longer
about
than he had been
how much
alive,
time
right?
we waste in life.
Yeah.
And 28 years go by just like that. Did it seem like your years were going by really slow, or did they go by kind of quick?
I'll say the hardest year of my life was the first year, because I was still like in a
you're a
relationship, I guess. My girl said she'd love me forever. If anybody wants to know how long forever is, it's 9 months. Because after that she was gone. But it was the hardest time I ever did. The thing about the prison system is you can't live in two worlds. You can't live in two worlds.
You cannot.
You cannot live in the free world and live in the prison world. You just can't do it. I think the hardest time for people inside is trying to control the outside while they're inside. It just can't be done.
It sounds like my mentor, Dr. Sabrina Black, when she was training us to go on the mission field, she would tell us, when we get to Africa, you have to be present in where you are. Can't worry about what's happening back at home. You can't be texting, talking about what are you doing, what's going on, because if you hear something bad, you won't be able to minister to the people that you were called to minister to. So you had to learn to be present.
Yes.
So that sounds like what you had to do while you were serving
100%.
your time.
And so you have to be present there. And so for me, I'm going to tell you, I look at it again. When you think about God and the grace that He gives you, the fact that I had life in prison made my time fly by. Why? Because I wasn't. So the guys who would have the hardest time, and this is funny, I know for certain now because God made sure I knew it, and this is how He made sure I knew it. The hardest time for people incarcerated is towards the end of their time, when they're about to go home, because they're counting every single day till it gets there, and they're just stressing about it. So I went from having life in prison to immediate release.
Yeah.
But with a caveat. What was the caveat? My motion was granted on the 17th. The next day was a holiday. The courts were closed. I had to wait through the weekend to come home on that Monday. Well, let me tell you something. From that afternoon till the 20th was the longest 3 days of my life, because I was counting every minute to get out of this.
When do you get out?
And so you think about that. But otherwise, honestly, for me, I was present in the thing. I focused a lot on keeping myself busy with positive actions. Education, whether it was educating myself or others. I wrote a lot of motions when I was in jail. I wrote a lot of motions. Legal avenue. I probably lost 10 appeals before I won one. So I tell people out here, including candidates who run for office, look, you're not going to win them all. And then, I lost 10 appeals before I won one, but I never lost faith. Imagine if I would have gave up after that 10th one.
Right.
I'd still be there.
Right.
But I kept faith and said, okay, this one lost, I'm going to try another one.
Yeah.
And so I was able to go from there and get out. And, because of that, my time did not drag on. Now, I came home to a different society.
Yeah.
You got to remember, for a
yeah,
kid that left,
baby at 19.
Look,
I have
in high
so
school.
There
much
was-
changed, right?
I can tell you so many funny stories
Well, cell phones, right?
the cell phone. I have no idea. I still barely know how to use my cell. I can take a picture with my phone, send an email or a text message, and that's about it. I take selfies. Everybody knows about the Danny selfies.
Well, thank you for taking selfies with me, because I didn't know, but you are always game for a selfie.
Yes, always game.
Yes.
So but there was so much I didn't know. When I came home.
So the worlds really are different. So like, even though you're going to college, getting degrees, and you're writing all of these things to help people, it's still not information that's being fed to you, that what's happening on the outside.
I mean, I knew the news. I probably knew the news then better than I knew now. I read 4 newspapers a day, and I watched every news show there was. So I knew the news, but it's the basic things.
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example. When I came home, my brother, my parents, they all gave me like credit cards. Here, just use these while you're home. You can
Get what
just
you need.
get what you need. I didn't use anything. I think my siblings had a secret chat between them that said "Watch Danny." They had given me a phone, but had turned the location on that I didn't even know. They knew where I always was. I didn't even know they had turned the location on.
That's how my kids do me now.
I didn't
call
know.
and say, "Mommy, why are you in Highland Park?
So-
Mommy, where are you?"
Yeah, so about 3 or 4 months went by, and I hadn't charged anything anywhere. And so one day my brother said, "Hey, because they were asking each other, like, did he use your card? No. Did he use your card? No. What's going on?" So he asked me, he said, "Hey, I noticed you haven't charged anything. You can charge stuff on it. That's good, And I was like, "No, I just pay cash for everything." And he's like, "No, but you can charge stuff on it." And I said, "Man, honestly, I don't know how to use a credit card." Like, I didn't know. I did not know that when the waiter comes up, you hand them your card, they go charge it, and they come back, they hand you the bill, you sign. I didn't know any of that. I did not know any of that.
Well, it's like the things that we take for granted that we do.
Yeah,
every
it just
single
basic-
day.
And all
It's
the
basic
things you
things.
miss between 19 and 40.
Sure. I
Right?
had never got a mortgage.
You learn about a credit card as an adult. You don't know that when you run around in high school.
Yeah.
Right,
So
because
that-
they're not teaching that.
Right, all that
Yeah,
learning
he
experience.
my brother had to teach me, like, no, just give them the card, they'll go, And I'll tell you another funny one is I went to Home Depot, which was just everything, to buy something. And then the guy waves you over, and he points to a register. And I walked up and I set,
Oh yeah, you have to do your own
set my
stuff.
stuff down.
Wait,
And I stood there.
Danny, that's hilarious.
He was staring at me. I was staring at him. And he was like, "What's wrong with this guy?" Probably, you know. And he's like, "Is there a problem?" I said, "No. Are you gonna ring me up or what? What are you doing?" He's like, "Excuse me." I said, "Aren't you gonna ring me up?" He's like,
Those were invented in the last 20
Right,
all
right.
that
self-checkout. I said, "It's what?" I was
Self-check.
like,
You're right.
self-checkout. I said,
You're right.
What does that mean? So he walks
Oh,
over,
wow.
he picks it up, and he scans it.
Gives
He's
you a
like, "You
thing."
scan your stuff." But
right,
and
like,
I
get
think about
moving,
the guy.
sir.
The guy's probably thinking, "Is this?" He's probably thinking, like,
Where
I
have
was-
you been?
No,
Right.
he's probably thinking, "What an arrogant guy!" You know, like he's so bougie.
Oh, okay.
You know, well, he doesn't want to scan his own. But honestly, I'd never heard of it. You
Oh,
scan your own
man.
stuff. I'd never heard of it. You know.
Yeah, it's a lot of new things happen.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a whole new
28
invention, but
years.
no, it's these little things for people who are incarcerated a long time that they have to learn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from 97.
It's
So-
the small things. You know,
So we're going to come back. I want everybody to hang in there with us. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Wow, this is good.
From the desk of RJ Watkins, this is a WHPR editorial.
I'm Ariana Watkins, and for decades, my father, RJ Watkins, has served our community with quality radio and TV service through WHPR and Roku. Today, I'm proud to stand beside him, continuing the legacy built on trust, innovation, and your support. We're here because of you, and we'll keep bringing you the best now and for generations to come. Thank you for supporting us and growing with us.
This has been a WHPR editorial.
Manifest your life and fly, 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 fly. Renee Lane, Yancey Shore. She's a spark, she's the light, she's the voice that feels just right. Truth and style, heart and grace, you'll see joy in every face. Radiate, illuminate, and shine, shine. The Renee Lane, Yancey Shore.
Clean up on aisle 5. Sounds like my life right now. Just one big mess.
What's going on?
It's my property taxes.
What?
I am behind and I am so worried that I'm going to lose my house. I can pay some of it, but I can't pay it all at once.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm Eric Sabri, the Wayne County Treasurer. The last thing I want is for anyone to lose their property to tax foreclosure. We have assistance programs to help.
For more information, go to treasurer.waynecounty.com.
We're here to help.
Hey, I know you've seen them. Those sleek vapes that everyone says is better than smoking. Here's the truth. They're not. Did you know that in Michigan, 14% of high school students use e-cigarettes? That's a lot of people risking their life for a quick buzz.
Nicotine doesn't just harm your body, it affects your mind too. It can make depression and anxiety worse, and even change how your brain handles stress. You deserve better than to let a tiny device control your mood and your future.
You know, I thought vaping was no big deal until it starting affected my mood and focus.
Yeah, and did you know that kids who vape are more likely to smoke cigarettes?
But there's good news. You don't have to do this alone. Whether it's through friends, family, or a support group, there's always a way out.
Your health, your future, you're worth so much more than what vaping has to offer.
Detroit's got your back. Visit CUYFDcoalition.org for tools and support to help.
Watkins Broadcasting is going worldwide. Now you can watch Detroit's own WHPR on your TV from anywhere in the world. No matter where you are, you can stay in the know with WHPR TV and Roku. You can get your easy-to-install Roku box from wherever you shop for your entertainment gear. Once your Roku box is connected to your TV and internet, go to the channel store on the home menu of the Roku box. Enter WHPR TV in the search engine and add it to your channels. That's it. That's all you need to get the best in entertainment, news, and talk, no matter where you are. Roku brings all of your favorites to your TV. Netflix, Hulu Plus, Crackle, HBO Go, and now WHPR TV, Detroit Live.
WGPR Detroit HD3.
You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit.
Welcome back. I hope you have been having such a great time, because I know we all have been having a magnificent time sitting here. I want to thank Darwin again for just inviting us out here today, because I really believe this is a God moment, you know, for us to learn so much about the two of you, I will say. I know we've been engaged with you, Danny, because you have such a powerful testimony. And to look at you and to hear all of that, it really does take a minute to allow it to, you know, process through our mind and in our heart. Because when you get to experience God in such a way that we learn from what you have experienced, and then we can see with our own eyes how God covers. You know, he covers his children. So as we get to moving on and conversating, some of the things that I want us to just kind of enlighten are some of the things that you have done in the community based off of your experience. Can you just let us know just, you know, a few of the things that you've done? I know that you work with Team Wellness, but what are some of the things that you have done based off of your experience?
So when I first came home from incarceration, believe it or not, my sister had my original driver's license, literally. I wish I still had that here. But I went to get my ID. I went to get the license. I was very excited about it.
Was it difficult to get
that?
Very,
very difficult.
Very difficult.
Very disrespectful staff. It was very, you know, I was almost, you know, embarrassed to show them my prison ID, you know. But I could see the shift in them, that when I did, just their demeanor, the way it shifts.
So their demeanor, was it like
you know,
move
no.
back, or was it like you don't have an ID?
No, it wasn't even that. When they seen the prison ID, they just start looking at you like subhuman almost. You know, like
oh wow.
They didn't want to accept it, even though by their policy they're supposed to accept it.
So you were resentenced again.
So you're re-traumatized. You're still crazy. It was very frustrating for me. I had all these documentations. I literally had my original driver's license, and honest to God, I looked the same. Other than I just don't have as much hair. And so I tried to explain to her. She just dismissed me very nonchalantly. It was very bad. I was very frustrated. I remember getting back in the car with my brother, and I was so angry because I was just trying to move forward with my life, and I felt like they were holding me back. But just because God again just always is good. My sister, at the time, knew the Secretary of State up in Lansing, Chief of Staff. She reached out to her, and it became a different conversation.
This must be a family thing, because the connections that they have.
So she called up there and said, "Hey, listen." So then they reached out to me, and went through the whole process and made sure that I got my ID. They made sure they took care of it. They streamlined it right away for me, which was beautiful, and it helped me. I was very happy about it. Mm-hmm. When I started at Team Wellness, and like I was saying earlier, and I realized all the different things that we do, I knew it was the perfect place for returning citizens, for justice impacted, because we did the complete wraparound services. Mm-hmm. So I reached out to my judge at the time, and invited him to know. He reached out to the federal probation. I don't know if people are aware, but in the federal system, the probation, they work for the judges. They work for the federal judges. That's who they answer to. So he passed it on to their mental health specialist. Her name is Sarah. Sarah reached out to me, and we connected, and and they came out and they did a tour, created a partnership to provide mental health for returning citizens. So we have a special program just for for people coming home. We have a special therapist assigned to them. She's handpicked by us. I make sure that she has to have, you got to have some swag for these guys.
So, and that was going to be one of my questions. Are you hands-on with the returning citizens, or are they passed off on?
No, it's very important for me that we work close as a team, especially for when it comes to juvenile justice or adult criminal justice reform, anything for those guys. And so we created that partnership, and I remember it was during COVID, and so the probation, they had a class they were doing, and they asked me if I could be on the Zoom as a speaker with the guys. They had a bunch of people. They do this group, and so I said, yeah, sure. So I was talking to them, and then I said, hey, listen, I've been empowered by my company to remove barriers for people coming home from incarceration. So are there any barriers for you guys? And this one young lady, she said, hey, I've been trying to get my ID for over 6 months now. I haven't been able to do it. It's been, and I said, oh, wow, I went through this. And the agent started talking. She said, Danny, I walked into the Secretary of State office with my badge, my gun, my bulletproof vest, and everything, and was explaining to them who this young lady was, and they still wouldn't accept it. And I said, oh, I can help with that. And so I reached out to the same people that helped me before.
Yes.
And we streamlined that. And then, big, shout out to, Jocelyn Benson's team. They created literally a partnership between us.
Oh, wonderful.
To streamline that.
Wonderful.
To the point where when their mobile office was first coming back out for the first time, their first location was Team Wellness Center.
Wow, I just met that mobile office.
Yeah, so their first stop when it was restarted was Team Wellness Center, and we work really close with them. They have a unit that's like I'm trying to think what the name is called. They have a unit up there in Lansing where you can, if you have one document, it's not exactly the document. It's called the exceptions team. So they send it up to the exceptions team. They can look at it and say, okay, this will do.
This will work.
This will work. This will work. There's certain things by law you have to have.
You have to have.
You have to have an original birth certificate.
And you think about the people that are coming, home. They're not going to have everything that a person that's been out.
No. And so we've worked together again, asking what. So now through this partnership, the Secretary of State will accept a letter from the probation officer. So that says where they live, because probation officers, whether state or federal, they have to go and see exactly where you live, look at the house, and verify. So
wow, that's really good. Like I think about all of the people who are on that road of trying to get things changed, but then they run into those barriers and then they give up, or they feel like there's no hope, and then they find themselves back where they started.
Yeah, so
you can't get a job with no ID, and you can't get anything.
You can't do anything without ID. It's literally the first step to reentry, and so through that partnership, we're able to do things that really nobody else can. And it's very important for me. I just helped the guy the other day. I took him personally. I picked him up from the halfway house. I drove him to get his ID. I knew immediately when he told me he had a copy of his birth certificate and not the actual birth that he wasn't going to get it. I knew it immediately. I told him, it's not going to work. You need your original. He had been incarcerated 15 years. But again, I literally picked up the phone inside the Secretary of State office. I called, Kathy Garrett's office. They pulled his name up. They said, yep, we got it here. Come get it. Come get it.
Wow.
Come get it right now.
Look, his name is still preceding him.
It's about people that are invested together to make sure that people have the best chance at success.
So I think people should know, Kathy Garrett is doing a magnificent job.
Yes.
Having that program out there for the returning citizens.
Her team goes above and beyond to do it. And the reason I started this partnership is because when that young lady told me that, I realized people shouldn't have to need somebody like my sister in order to get the cog moving.
Right.
Yeah.
It should be streamlined. And again, the Secretary of State's office has been, especially up there with Jocelyn and her team, they've been trying to get down to the branches about making sure they understand to work to get them their ID. Don't be a barrier. So the Secretary of State mobile office comes to all our locations every month.
That's amazing.
They come to Team Wellness Center every month. We pay for the IDs.
Oh wow!
Yeah, we pay for the IDs.
So there's a fee.
There's a fee attached to it, but Team Wellness Center. So the first time it came out, the day before they were arriving, I got a call from the director of that clinic, and she said to me, "Danny, what do we do if they can't pay?" And I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Well, there's a $10 fee. You got to remember, we have an overnight program too. I don't want to say it's a homeless shelter, but it's for those suffering from housing instability, and then we let them stay at our facility if they're getting treatment from us." We provide them with housing, 3 meals a day, showering facilities, clothing closets. We do complete wraparound, for those. And again, that's completely
like that is amazing. So people, if they're in need of housing, they can reach out to Team Wellness.
Yeah. So we're not a housing. I don't want 100 people calling me, but if you're getting mental health treatment from us.
Okay, so you have to be in the program.
Yeah, it's a program. So if you're getting mental health treatment from us and you're suffering from housing instability. So let's say they bring somebody to our crisis unit. They found them on the street. They were in mental health crisis. The police bring them to us. We get them stabilized. We get them on their medication. We get them to see the psychiatrist, the therapist. We assign them everything. But they don't have anywhere to go. We're not just going to open the door and put you out on the street. We're not going to do that. That's inhumane.
Yeah.
What we're going to do is we're going to move you to our overnight program. And we're going to provide you with 3 meals a day. You'll have a caseworker assigned to you. We'll get the employment specialists. The Department of Health and Human Services has an office at our location. They come out every day to streamline that process.
That's amazing. So it's real wraparound.
Yeah. We try to be as efficient and effective as possible. When it comes to people living just human dignity, it's not something that should be take a long time.
Yeah.
And what the beauty with us is we're a private company, so we can move really fast. We don't have to I don't have to ask 10 people permission to do one thing. I just pick up the phone and call Tony. Hey, buddy.
And that's exactly. Realize it was a private company.
Yeah, and
does give you a different level of freedom.
No, and that gives you a completely efficient. We're very efficient in what we do because we can make decisions very quickly.
Yeah.
When I think about that day, she called me and said, "Well, who's going to pay? The IDs?" And I said, "Give me a minute." I hung up the phone. I called the CEO. "Hey, Tony." He's like, "What's going on?" I said, "Hey, tomorrow Secretary of State's coming. There's a fee attached. Most of the members aren't going to be able to pay." He said, "Okay, what do you want to do?" I said, "Should we pay? Just pay for it."
Yeah.
So
$10 each.
What a blessing.
Wonderful.
So we've been paying for it ever since.
Really?
We've paid for thousands of IDs, thousands.
So I got a quick question.
We paid for birth certificates. We paid for hundreds of birth certificates for people. Because it's such a small thing for us, but it means so much to the person.
Absolutely.
I don't want $10 or $25 or whatever it is.
Right, to hold them up.
I love the other day when we got the birth certificate for the guy, it was $2 because he was a senior.
Yeah.
It was $2. I was like, oh.
And it changed everything for him.
It was, and he the next day
so
we went and got him his
about
ID.
it, they're all ages.
All
ages.
So we have
returning
people coming
citizens,
home.
yes.
So listen at this, and I know we brought up Kwame Kilpatrick before. So a person of that status, is it still hard for them when they return back, or do they, or is it more difficult for a person that maybe not have a name, or is it across the board? If you've been incarcerated, you will have these types of challenges.
So, believe it or not, I helped Kwame's co-defendant Bobby get his ID.
So yeah.
So it doesn't really matter.
It's across the board.
Listen, it affects people across the board in the sense of the documents you need to get ID are the documents you need to get ID. There's no special exception for if you're famous or if you're nobody.
Yeah, the Secretary of State's going to act like they don't recognize you.
They don't recognize you.
It's
not that
ID.
Listen, I don't want to get
It's probably the system because the system requires.
They require certain things. It's not them. Listen,
but
let
when
me tell
you
you
really
something.
think about it now, all they do is pass it, look at it, and pass it back.
I know, but there's certain. They have to have.
I mean,
so when they come to our locations, they're very, very accommodating.
Okay.
But there's certain things by federal law you have to have. You have to have proof of citizenship. You have to have You have to have it. It doesn't matter who you are. I don't care if you were, Donald Trump walked in and if he didn't have his original birth certificate, he's not getting ID either. It's just the reality. That's the law. They're going to follow the letter of the law. Now, there's some things they can go through their exceptions department, and they have made many exceptions. Again, for the residency requirement, you need 2 pieces of mail. People coming home from incarceration, they don't have 2 pieces of mail. So now they'll accept the letter from the probation officer that certifies where they live. If they put their Social Security on there, they'll accept that because they know these are law enforcement officers. And so if they're saying, yeah, John lives here, and yes, this is John's Social Security number, then that's good enough for those.
Yeah.
But when it comes to certain things that they have to have, there's really nothing they can do. I'm sure they would love to, if somebody changed the law, make it easier, but they have to follow the letter of the law.
Yeah.
And they've worked very hard with us to make sure that we're able to give guys IDs. And if there's a hiccup with something, I'll get a call, I'll make a call, and we'll work it out. We'll make it work.
I know we're spending a little time on this, but I just think it's so important for people to understand, though that there may have been these barriers that have prevented people from having it, but people need to really know that there is help out there. For them now. And a person like Danny, whatever that need is,
if you're watching
if he
this
can
show
help.
and you're a returning citizen and you can't get ID, call me.
Just
you call the show, they'll get a hold of me, call me.
Yeah, but when you think about teen wellness and the fact that it's important for them to provide that level of dignity and to stop recidivism, because if I came back and the entire society's changed and I don't have any of these things, what do I do besides go back? Right, going back would be the easiest thing.
The easiest way. And think about it. Now, Danny had family. He had family that was fighting for him. Right, and then he gets out. He has this family that's wrapping their arms around him, protecting him, giving him things so that he can move forward. But then he comes to where he needs to get an ID, and these people are the ones that have to give you the ID, want to take his dignity, want to, make you feel less than.
Yeah. So people are going to run into barriers coming home. They're going to have frustrations. So I go in and talk to guys that are incarcerated and I go up into the jails and talk to them. I returned to the prison where I was released from twice to talk to the guys. Yeah, I drove all the way back to Illinois and talked to them. I was in the Milan Federal Prison about last month and talked to them.
So you are really the person that keeps on giving. Because most people say, when I walk out of here, you'll never see me on the other side of that wall.
I'll tell you a funny story. The first time I drove back to the prison I was released from, I drove from here to St. Louis. It's by St. Louis, that prison. I don't know if you guys know White Boy Rick. I'm sure a lot of you guys know him.
Yeah.
He's a good friend of mine. And he called me on my way driving. He's like, hey, bro, what are you doing? And I said, oh, man, I'm going to surprise you. He said, what? I said, I'm driving back to go into the prison where I was released from to talk to the guys. Give a presentation. He goes, well, I ain't going back up in there. They ain't getting me back up in there. I'm not going back where they, and a lot of people ask me, how did it feel?
Yeah.
And I said, I walked in there like I walked out of there, like I owned the place. That's how I did it because I walked in.
That's that God confidence,
yeah.
right?
It's
not
a
arrogance. It's just that God audacity to believe.
It was a beautiful experience. The other day
Danny.
when last month when I went into the Milan Federal Correctional Institution to talk to those guys.
Yes.
There was the first person that met me was in another prison with me, and he's the one that introduced me. He's a great kid, and I was like, and I talked to them because I want to give people hope. I remember when I went to the first time I went back to the prison I was released from. There's a guy that said to me, what do I do? I just got sentenced to 28 years. I said, I just did 28 years. You just do it. You do it in this sense. You do your time like you're going home tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that means program like you're going home tomorrow. Stay out of trouble like you're going home tomorrow. Please.
I like that.
Don't be a guy. So for me, what happened, I was blessed in the sense that because I didn't get in trouble, I was incarcerated. When it was time for the judge, when he had an opportunity to release me, the government couldn't come to him and say, well, Your Honor, he's been doing A, B, C, D, E in prison bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I tell people, don't be the guy that has an opportunity at freedom, but loses it because they decided they want to be a jerk inside.
Now, on the last 3 days, like once you got that, yes, Danny, you could go home, but you still had to wait a couple of more days. Is it difficult as far as the people who know that you're going home, are they
No.
trying to make it difficult
No,
for you? Trying
I mean,
to
it was
make you-
COVID for me anyway, so we were locked in the cell. It was during COVID time, so we were just locked in the cell. We only got out for 1 hour a day.
Are they happy that you're getting out?
Oh, they were thrilled for me. I mean, they were thrilled. Everybody was happy. The staff that knew me, they were coming over to the housing unit because, again, we weren't out. So they were coming over, walking over to the housing unit to congratulate me. They were very happy. It was, again, great experience. But so you have to give back in the sense of, I made a deal with God. I said, when you let me out of here, I never said if. When you let me out, I'm going to give back. And that's what I've been doing. I think it's my most important thing I do now is trying to keep kids out of jail.
Yeah,
Our
and that's the important part.
Our juvenile,
Never going.
yeah, our juvenile restorative justice program is amazing in the sense of, we have a program where the kids are released from the juvenile detention center. It's a partnership with the county. Warren Evans wanted things done differently.
Yeah,
Warren Evans he's a transformational leader when it comes to the county, and for the state. He thinks in a different way because Warren looks at those kids and says those could be my grandsons, those could be my children, and so he empowered the county. He told his team, Brian Reinhardt, Turfy, all of them. Listen, I want things done differently.
Yeah.
I want things
So
done
Danny,
differently.
what are some of the things that we can do as people that we have not gone and been incarcerated?
Yes.
We're here on the outside. What are a few things that we can do that when a returning citizen comes back? What are some things that we
Don't criticize them.
Don't criticize.
Don't criticize them. I think some of the scariest things I've seen for people that are coming home from incarceration is they run into a family member and the family member expects them, if they were some type of criminal that made a lot of money back in the days and now they're coming home making $12 an hour, $15 an hour, don't put extra pressure on them. Don't criticize them. Be supportive. Be understanding. They're going to run and they're going to have frustrations and things. It's the same way I tell the guys coming home, don't rush your re-entry.
Oh, I like that.
Don't rush your
now
re-entry,
that's
please.
huge.
You're gonna have. You're not. I had a friend of mine. God bless him. He passed away. He was a millionaire when he left the streets. He's a big time guy. He's a millionaire. He came home. He was making $20 an hour. It was very hard for him. He had a lot of pressure on him. It was a hard transformation after 30 years of incarceration.
Oh wow.
And so I tell guys, don't get frustrated. Look, when I came home, until this day, I remember my friend called me. After my first 30 days, I didn't even leave the house. I'm not gonna lie, because the government could appeal the case. I didn't want anybody to even see me. I just wanted to wait and see what was gonna happen. If they appealed the case, then I was in for another fight. But I had faith. I wasn't worried about it. My family was so much more concerned about it than I was.
Yeah.
They were so scared that they were gonna. I was like, I'm gonna win because God's with me. I'm gonna win. And once they said, hey, we're not going to appeal it because honestly we have nothing to say. Like, what are we going to tell the courts? He shouldn't have got his degree from Indiana State University. He shouldn't have completed 300 courses. He shouldn't have graduated 10,000 people. He shouldn't have a letter from his judge.
Right.
He shouldn't have created a program with the federal judge. His prosecutor should
All of
what
those
are we going to tell
positive
them? They were like, absolutely not. And I was blessed in that regard because the government did appeal a lot of young men's cases.
Yeah.
That got similar relief like me and got them reincarcerated. I have a friend of mine, he was out for 10 months and they appealed this case and locked him back up, and it's heartbreaking for me because he was doing so good out here.
Wow, I've never heard of that. I thought once you're out, you're out.
No.
Once you're done, you're done. You've served your time.
They do, unfortunately, they will appeal cases. They will try to get you reincarcerated, and they did it, and it's sad. And I'm hopeful it's something that we can change. We're still fighting to get him out because he was successful. He served a substantial sentence. And so, but don't rush your reentry because if you do, you're gonna end up back in jail. I had a friend of mine. He tried to rush his reentry and ended up back incarcerated, and it's heartbreaking for me because I can remember a couple days after he was incarcerated, I was up in Genesee County for Ignite graduation. Again, I serve on the board for the advisory board for the sheriffs for the Ignite program. Ignite is a reentry program started up in Genesee County by Sheriff Swanson. It's an amazing program. It teaches reentry, it teaches health and wellness, mental health, life skills, GED. The UAW is a part of it. The Iron Workers Union. They teach you how to be a welder in the jail.
Wow, it's great to have those type of organizations.
It's in 25% of the country now. So the National Sheriff's Association, which is 3,084 sheriffs, they've seen this program. they went and visited and seen what it was doing. It lowered the staff on inmate incidences by 95% in the jail.
Wow.
95% less.
Seriously?
Yes.
Wow.
It's amazing what it does. Because
Wow.
it creates a partnership between the guys incarcerated and the guards. Now they're not working adversely against each other. They're working to support each other. The guards are here trying to give them supportive, instruction on programming, and the guys are feeling validated.
Wow.
And the women too, the same. So it's for men and women. And I was up there talking to them. I was on one of the units, and I remember watching the guys walking into their cells and thinking about my friend who I love a lot. That right now, at that time, he was walking into a cell after 23 years of jail, being incarcerated, had a life sentence also, and released, and
then
thinking
he
about
did-
how he felt.
So
Wow.
he did something to return?
Hold that thought.
Yeah, he did.
Because we're going to come right back.
Oh my goodness.
And time is moving right along. Please stay
Yeah.
with us. We'll be
Yes,
right
stay
back.
with us.
Clean up on aisle 5. Sounds like my life right now. Just one big mess.
What's going on?
It's my property taxes.
What?
I am behind and I am so worried that I'm going to lose my house. I can pay some of it, but I can't pay it all at once.
Sorry to interrupt. I'm Eric Sabri, the Wayne County Treasurer. The last thing I want is for anyone to lose their property to tax foreclosure. We have assistance programs to help.
For more information, go to treasurer.waynecounty.com.
We're here to help.
From the desk of RJ Watkins, this is a WHPR editorial.
I'm Ariana Watkins, and for decades, my father, RJ Watkins, has served our community with quality radio and TV service through WHPR and Roku. Today, I'm proud to stand beside him, continuing the legacy built on trust, innovation, and your support. We're here because of you, and we'll keep bringing you the best now and for generations to come. Thank you for supporting us and growing with us.
This has been a WHPR editorial.
Hey, I know you've seen them. Those sleek vapes that everyone says is better than smoking. Here's the truth. They're not. Did you know that in Michigan, 14% of high school students use e-cigarettes? That's a lot of people risking their life for a quick buzz.
Nicotine doesn't just harm your body, it affects your mind too. It can make depression and anxiety worse, and even change how your brain handles stress. You deserve better than to let a tiny device control your mood and your future.
You know, I thought vaping was no big deal until it starting affected my mood and focus.
Yeah, and did you know that kids who vape are more likely to smoke cigarettes?
But there's good news. You don't have to do this alone. Whether it's through friends, family, or a support group, there's always a way out.
Your health, your future, you're worth so much more than what vaping has to offer.
Detroit's got your back. Visit CUYFDcoalition.org for tools and support to help.
Justice for Mario Willis. Truth. Facts. Evidence. Mattered. Log into justiceformariowillis.com. Read for yourself.
Watkins Broadcasting is going worldwide. Now you can watch Detroit's own WHPR on your TV from anywhere in the world. No matter where you are, you can stay in the know with WHPR TV and Roku. You can get your easy-to-install Roku box from wherever you shop for your entertainment gear. Once your Roku box is connected to your TV and internet, go to the channel store on the home menu of the Roku box. Enter WHPR TV in the search engine and add it to your channels. That's it. That's all you need to get the best in entertainment, news, and talk, no matter where you are. Roku brings all of your favorites to your TV. Netflix, Hulu Plus, Crackle, HBO Go, and now WHPR TV, Detroit Live.
Welcome back, everybody. We have been on a powerful 2-hour run here. It has been a magnificent time here with Pastor Overman and our good friend Danny Horani. It has truly been an eye-opening session, a great informational session, heartfelt session that we've been here, talking. I hate that Darwin could not be here with us, because this is truly a blessing that we get to sit here and talk. So for this last half hour, I want to try to squeeze in as much as we can, just talking about, growing up. Danny was growing up, 19-year-old, right?
Yeah, growing up inside.
Growing up, in the city. What city?
I grew up in Dearborn, Michigan.
Growing up in Dearborn. Dearborn looks totally different now than it did back when you were growing up. Mm-hmm. I grew up in Detroit. You grew up in Inkster. A lot of things have changed, over the years. I was just telling Danny how my brother was killed in Detroit. And, it changed my everything. Knowing
my sister and my nephew. I'm sure Marcus shared that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I tell you, all of the tragedies and the traumas that we have experienced in life, the things that connect us as human beings, we all have testimonies of how we've overcome. Yes. But the things that we can do today to inspire someone, to help bring hope to someone else, I think it's just imperative that we always share, the things that we've gone through, share the resources that we have, share the opportunities so other people can, get ahead. Mm-hmm. So what are some of the things? I'm going to start with you, Pastor Overman. I know that you have a lot of projects that you're in, a lot of things that you're doing, but give us some things that will bring some hope.
Well, there's a few things, especially in this current climate with what's happening with the administration, as resources are changing the way they're directed and to those that are still in great need. I'm very thankful that we are partnering with Wayne County, the actual Wayne County, and they're providing food resources. We receive funding to support our families, and they reimburse us. So we're able to purchase good food. We just partnered with a food rescue that we're able to provide fresh produce, and the partnership with the United Way. We have a big issue in Inkster. There's no mobility. We don't have a bus route running through the city of Inkster. So to get food to families that cannot get to Mother's Pantry, we received a van from the United Way.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that wonderful? So, so partnerships in the way that people are collaborating now to meet the need, and even to what you were talking about with Team Wellness and the fact that there's some support for the mental health care issues, because what we are seeing more and more, the people that are standing on corners with signs, a lot of that is mental illness.
Yes.
And we are recognizing that. So to be a partner with whether it's Western Wayne Family Health Centers, with the mental health care support there, or Team Wellness, or even down in Access, there's so many opportunities to get people from point A to B, where you're homeless because you can't get your paperwork filled out, right?
Yeah, I think one of the things that we have to do is we do recognize that the state had closed down a lot of those mental health
absolutely.
facilities. However, times have changed. There are team wellness. There are programs that are out there. So we have to change the communication that we say. We can't no longer sing that song and dance about, oh, they closed all of the facilities. We have to learn who these places are, where they
support
are.
Partners. I
Yeah,
agree.
like we have to become knowledgeable of what's out there so that we can share.
So we have 2 different crisis centers. 24/7 they're open. You can,
see, I didn't know that.
You can walk in anytime and say, I need help.
Wow.
And you'll get in 2 different ones. One in Western Wayne, one in the east side of Detroit. You can walk in. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of times, you know, the CIT team will bring people in there. Dearborn Police bring us a lot of people. Dearborn Police, you know, Chief Shaheen is very committed to making sure that people are not incarcerated if they're not if
It's
they're
really mental health here.
Yeah, if it's a mental health thing, he doesn't want to see them in jail. He wants to take them to team wellness. They'll stabilize them. They'll get them in a program.
Wow, that's good to know. So,
Yeah, and so we
so
get a
say
lot-
that
Dearborn
again, because
Heights-
a lot of times, you know, like if a person has a bad experience with the police, you know, they may not
Well, you call them for
want
help
to.
and they shoot and kill you. Like the lady with the guy said, she said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
Oh, that
And the
was
officer
crazy.
shot her and
Yeah,
killed
that
her.
was-
We saw the whole thing.
That was
Yeah.
was clearly mental illness.
Yeah. So
there-
some of those things will deter people from
Deter, yeah.
going to the police
So-
for help, and police have resources.
So here, a big shout out to D-Win again. They do a CIT training for all the officers. They offer it to every
wonderful.
department. They do crisis intervention training for all the officers throughout Wayne County. Those officers are taught to recognize a mental health condition. They're taught to de-escalate. They teach them on ways to talk. Detroit Police does it completely different. Their CIT officers don't even dress in blues. They dress in khakis, and they respond very calmly. They know exactly how to de-escalate. They don't want to, they don't come at them aggressively at all. They're very focused on making sure that the resident knows they're there to support them.
Yeah, that is so good to know, because just like you were saying, how many times we've seen, a person that was in a mental health crisis,
Clear crisis.
and then they've, either was shot or killed because maybe there wasn't enough training or, whatever the case.
Listen,
but to know that it's there.
Here's the truth. The truth is, it's unfair to ask police officers to be, master level therapists.
That's
It's unfair.
That's true.
Because
they're human
police are
beings.
here to fight crime.
They're here to protect and serve.
They're here to protect us.
Chief
Yep.
Bedison, Chief Shaheen, Chief Haidar, Dearborn Heights, Detroit, they all work together to make sure that the residents in those areas, Chief Jenkins out there in Inkster, she does great work.
She does.
They want to make sure that they're there to support their community.
Mm-hmm.
I've had the privilege and pleasure of presenting to the Western Wayne County Chiefs Association.
Mm-hmm.
They have a meeting every month. The Western, it's led by Sam Jafer, who's one of the.
You're
I don't want
just
to say
so
it's led by,
connected.
but he does. They do a presentation. Sam, who is the Wayne County Homeland Security Chief, asked me to come out and talk to them and talk about the crisis resources.
Okay.
So that they know, and the officers and the chiefs, they want to know, like, where can we send somebody who's in crisis? Garden City was very excited to learn about it. Westland, that we had this new location in Westland, and again, you walk in there, and it's you're surrounded, and you're with mental health, care, and we make sure the intervention is, given to you in a sense to stabilize you back, put you back in community.
Yeah,
I know you and I talked about guys coming home from prison, and some of the stuff that they suffer, some of the stuff they go through, the
trauma.
PTSD that they've suffered.
Yes.
People would not believe this, but some of the most violent things I've seen, so much violence in prison that people wouldn't even believe some of the stuff that you saw. And so that affects people. So for us, that's why our therapist for our returning citizens is handpicked by us.
Oh wow.
She's got to have swag. It's
She got to have some swag.
She got to have swag because the guys know it. So what I can't do is,
Okay.
So
she gotta,
See,
and
I
I'll give you a
thinking
perfect.
he was
I
talking
wouldn't
about a
work in
purse.
there.
No, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to.
That's a swag bag.
No.
Oh, not a
I'm going to
swag
give you
bag.
a prime example.
Okay.
A federal probation officer reached out to me. He said they have their own. They have their own contractor that does their mental health for some of their people, but they can't really do I'm sorry, I don't want to sound arrogant, but they can't do what our therapist does, because he told me, I got this individual, he needs more care than the contractor can provide, and I'm wondering if we can maybe, move him to you guys.
Okay.
And I said, what's the problem? He goes, man, he really needs a lot of care. So I asked him, I said, well, let me ask something. Tell me a little bit about him. And he told me a little bit. I said, is he African American? Yes. Is his therapist the old white guy? Yes. I said, okay, here's your problem. We'll take care of it. Why? Well, here's the reason why. He's associating that therapist with a prison therapist. So he's not going to open up to him.
Oh, okay.
Or a judge.
Okay.
He's not going to open up to him because there's no cultural understanding.
There's no
There's no cultural
connection.
understanding. So when you work in this field, you have to have the cultural aspect.
Absolutely.
So when we work with juveniles,
Mm-hmm.
so it's very important for me that the people that work with these juveniles have a cultural understanding of the life that they live.
Yeah.
Look, let me tell you something. When I walked to school, every day growing up to Dearborn, I didn't have to fear that a gang was going to jump on me. For some of these kids in Detroit, walking to school it's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
remember you were talking, one of the kids ran in and needed to be protected.
So I was at a location. My friend has a location on 7 Miles called Tire Track.
Yeah.
And I was
know Tire Track.
So it's a beautiful new location they opened, and so we were standing there, and I was talking to him, and these 3 young little girls literally ran up, like ducking down, and hiding behind my friend's truck.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "What's happening?" And I said, "Are you guys okay?" They're like, "Please, can we just sit here for a minute?" And I was like, "What's going on?" And they were looking across the street. She said, "Those boys." And I looked across the street. It was across 7 Mile. I told them, "Listen, go in the store." Well, I said, "Go in the store. Go on." She's like, "Are you sure?" Yeah. Go, please go inside. She walked inside. I told the people, "Hey, give them some water, see what they need." I said, "Are you girls okay? What's wrong?" She goes, "Well, those boys across the street are my brother's ops. And if they see us, they're going to shoot at us to get back at my brother." And I was thinking, what?
Isn't that crazy?
I said, "How old are you guys?" Like,
And that's
15.
real life every day.
And that's their real life. Imagine that. So when we talk about juvenile justice,
Yes.
you need to understand that the life that these kids live. Listen, the majority of people in my program are young African American kids. Does that mean that they're the worst kids on earth, or does it mean that society has
Absolutely
dealt them
not.
the worst hand?
I like that.
Society's dealt them the worst hand, and
And
it's
on
our
purpose.
job as adults to reshuffle the deck.
That goes back
It's
to
our
what
job.
you were
Powerful,
saying.
Dan.
It's our
Don't
job as
judge.
adults. Don't ever judge. You don't know the life those kids. Imagine the trauma on those poor young girls.
Yes.
And it was really eye-opening and sad to me to see that. And so that's why we have to reshuffle the deck. That's the reason our program was created. That's the reason Warren Evans said, "Hey, we're going to do things differently now."
Yes.
When it comes to juvenile justice, he built them a new facility.
Yes.
And then he created the program. He, reached out to us and said, "Hey, this is what I want."
Mm-hmm.
And we built an amazing program. We built Central Park inside of a building so that the kids could see their therapist out on a picnic table, not in a classroom.
I like
We
that.
built a beautiful
Wow.
facility for them, and we wrapped them with a pediatrician, a nutritionist, a therapist, a case manager, mentors, everything. We wrapped them, whatever those kids need, we're going to provide for them. Because we're going to make sure that those kids have every opportunity at success as any kid.
Pipeline, right?
Yeah. We have
the
to.
pipeline.
Yeah.
So you're
Prayerfully,
dealing with
they
generational
will
incarceration.
receive all of that because
Yes.
and is that still true or something to even look at? Is like when you give people so much, that they did not have, that they may not be able to appreciate it,
So,
or
here's it's true with adults. It's true with children. For the guys coming home from prison, for the guys I used to teach in class, I used to tell them the same thing. This can be the best class in the world, but until you're ready to make that personal decision that you don't want to come back to prison, there's nothing I can do for you. Same thing with drug addiction. I can give you all the resources in the world, but until you're ready to accept them, I can't help you.
Yeah.
It's the same things for those kids. I've been to Children's Village. I go in JDF and talk to the kids, and I tell them, JDF is the juvenile detention facility, and I tell them, listen, right now society in Michigan, the state has created so many opportunities for you guys for second chances. There were no second chances when we were growing up. They did not exist. But you guys have to take advantage of that. If you live in Detroit, you're automatically eligible for free community college.
Yeah.
If you live in Detroit, so
Wayne
you have
County.
to Wayne County College.
So many
you
great
have
opportunities.
to accept the opportunities that you are given. The truth is, we're not going to save everybody. That's
Yeah,
I've had to accept
that's
that.
the unfortunate truth.
You're not. But if you just save one child, you have changed a generation.
Yeah.
You have changed, you have stopped that generational incarceration, the generational poverty. If you just save one child. So if we stop it there,
that's good.
And we move that child into a successful future, whether it's college, whether it's vocational training, whatever it is to pull him off that path that he's on.
Yeah.
And the investments that the county has made in that area, there's no one else in the state that's done what they've done when it comes to that. So they're you know, God bless them. You know, we like to talk bad about, you know, politicians sometimes, but God bless them. They put
the
their
ones that's doing well are doing well.
They
right.
put their money where their mouth in. You know, where they've invested in that area, and they're continuing to invest. So they'll say, hey, we want to make sure these kids succeed. And our job, you know, I know Pastor Overman does it already. I'm sure you do it as a chaplain. It's to make sure that we are there to support these kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the objective.
Yeah, there are so many things out there. I know for me, I have a nonprofit. It's The Girls Factory.
Nice.
And what I do is I help young ladies. I bring awareness to what domestic violence is.
Okay.
I teach safety planning, give them, you know, an opportunity to talk about things that they may be going through. But also we do cooking sessions where they'll be able to learn some of those, you know, skills, have fun. And then I get them to meet women in the community that may have had challenges. They talk about how they overcame those challenges and what they're doing now. So the youth can see, you know, people like you and me, you know, like they're not just on TV in California, you know, far away. They need to see people up close and personal that are succeeding. And a lot of times what the young ladies tell me is, oh, you know her? Oh, she went through that? Oh, I guess I can get over that. And these girls that I work with are starting at the age of 7.
Oh, wow.
7 years old. So when you're teaching things, such a huge thing like domestic violence and how to stay safe, it's not so huge because they're living in it.
Yeah.
It's not so huge because they've experienced it, you know. So when you have opportunities, I'm going to say, especially, you know, for you, when you have opportunities to work with other groups, especially like mine, are there some barriers that you think that would prevent an organization like yours from working with like inner city youth? And it could be anything, you know, anything that would stop you from.
No, because the one thing, when we took the group of children, young adults, to the United Nations, we had children that we got a student from King, one from Detroit. So we are intentional with when we can expose, because Schoolcraft College, and I have to do a shout out for them, they started it with $10,000 to be matched. So the one big barrier really is you can't expect for parents to put kids in a hotel in New York and fly them there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take your kids on a bus and have a problem. So I knew how I wanted to travel. I knew who we wanted to travel. So I was intentional on getting financial partners to get us there. So we're looking for kids that would not be exposed without us reaching out. So whether we're talking about kids that's living in a home where they can't even sleep at night because mom and dad fighting, or mom and mom fighting, or whatever's going on, right? Your brother coming in and disrespecting grandma. Somebody got, you know all the things that happen in some homes, right?
Yeah.
We are looking for those young people to say, hey, there's more, right? Because I'm the oldest girl of 14, and we grew up stable, but I was also exposed living in housing and exposed living in the city of Inkster to all kind of life. That's kids that had a chance to get a full ride, because the same high school I graduated from the year before, Woodrow Whitlow, who ran NASA, graduated in the class before me. But at the same time, we had the class where somebody was killing somebody.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a lot of exposure. Yeah. I want to expose your girls to what's happening in Inkster. And I want you to help me expose, just through conversations for our families, that all of these resources are available.
Yeah.
Because all of us
So
have a son in jail,
Yeah.
or have
And
been
you know
in
what?
jail.
I was gonna say that
right?
too.
Or a
like-
brother in jail, or a cousin in jail.
You lived that experience,
Yes.
and that non-judging thing it really
Yes.
hits, because I can honestly say, like, back when I was, you know, a lot younger, I used to didn't pay attention to people who went, in jail. It
Mhm.
wasn't until, I have been in ministry where I go into the jails to help minister
Yes,
to.
I preached in prisons.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
when you're not exposed, or you don't have access, or you don't know people that's doing those great things, then it's like, until it happens to me, or someone
So-
in my family,
Yeah. That's
right.
it's not important. And that's one of the things I think we should change.
I think it's funny because there's so many people who don't care about criminal justice reform until it affects them.
Right.
Once it affects them, then they're all of a sudden, the laws are unfair, the laws are unjust.
They're unfair.
But
Or
we
I
knew
need
that
it right
already.
away. I need you.
Yeah, so that's one aspect of it. I remember a 14-year-old that I was talking to one day, and he told me, "I don't care if I die tomorrow. I've seen everything." I said, "Buddy,
At
you
14.
haven't seen anything. You haven't left the east side of Detroit. What are you talking about?" So we try to expose them to different things for our program. We want to take them to the Charles Wright Museum. I want to expose them to African American history. I want to take them to a Tigers game. I want to take them.
Oh, that's amazing. So it's
I
not
want to take them to the
that you're
Pistons
just
game.
helping the people that have been incarcerated. You want to help those young people before they even get to that
Oh yeah,
point.
so our juvenile diversion program, it's called JRP, our juvenile restorative justice program, is kids that have been incarcerated inside of the juvenile detention center. They're released on a tether. We pick them up every day. It's a day program. We pick them up every day. We bring them to our facility and give them wraparound services.
That's amazing.
And some of the things you were talking about, exposing them to different people. I took Vezo. I don't know if you guys Icewear Vezo. He's a rapper, very renowned. Probably the #1 Detroit rapper. I took him into the juvenile jail to talk to the kids last year for the Super Bowl. We donated chicken wings, pizza, Faygo, and cupcakes because it's
I
not
know
really
they
a
were
Detroit
happy,
thing
right?
without the Faygo. But I think the kids were just so intrigued by our conversations. First off, they're looking at me like maybe I'm his manager or his lawyer, and I tell them, no, I'm actually the real gangster in the room. It's not him. But he told them something very important that they needed to hear. What he told them was, and this is why I know that man is sincere in his heart. Vezo told them, listen, I live in Madison Heights. My kids go to Montessori school. Don't try to live my music. It's just entertainment.
Oh, I love that.
It's just entertainment. He said, listen, I've been incarcerated.
Wow.
I've been incarcerated.
Wow.
I lost every dollar I made doing things wrong. And every dollar I made now, which is 1,000 times more than I ever made the other way, is all because I'm doing things right.
Wow.
So pick the road you want to travel on. Pick the road you want to travel on.
Don't live my music.
Don't
That's
live my
powerful.
music. Yeah, it's just music.
That's powerful.
But again, these young kids, sometimes I think they're lost in that moment because of their life. Many of them, again, I believe like the home structures are the problem.
Yeah.
And we need to wrap these kids in the same supportive services that a kid in Birmingham or Dearborn or
That part.
we got to give them that type of support.
And that exposure.
And that
Because
exposure,
you can't be in the street if you're at the museum.
Yeah.
You
No,
can only be
and
one
that's-
place
and
at
that-
a
and
time.
that's- and that's-
on a
and-
trip
Right. You can
somewhere,
only
right?
be one place at a
And
time.
that's why we partner with people like the Police Athletic League, PAL.
You need to partner with Operation
Um,
Refuge.
We try to partner with as many programs that will expose these kids to different experiences.
You need to do.
I like
the
that.
De-
I like that.
The Detroit Mayor's Office will offer us tickets for the kids. The county will offer us tickets. What do you need for these kids?
That's amazing.
There's very few people that I
just
can
hearing
reach out to
all of
that'll say,
the people that you're connected with, to be
told you.
able to be connected
But
to the
remember, this
mayor's
started
office
in 2020.
yeah, but I mean,
He's got a lifetime of connections.
Yeah.
Listen, when you're asking for help to help children, who's gonna say no?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not asking you to send me to Disneyland or something.
Yeah.
Hey,
But true
do
help.
you want to help a child in
Expose.
need? Yes. All of us. It's all our jobs as adults
That's good.
to make sure that these kids have opportunity.
You're so
Stop
right.
being so
You're
judgmental
right.
of
We
these
take
children.
them to the world.
Yeah.
Stop being so judgmental of these kids. You haven't lived their life. I want you to think about those 3 young girls every time you look at a child.
Yeah, that's powerful.
And ask yourself, what type of trauma happened literally in that 5 minutes for those,
That's
the
right.
terror they faced. I could see it in their face. That's why I told them to step inside.
Imagine if you weren't there. We
Yeah.
saw on the news 3 girls
Could have been
shot
on the
at.
news.
You know, thank God that didn't happen. But again, imagine
Yes.
that. It was so
Yes.
so heartbreaking for me to watch that because I knew for sure this is their life.
Yeah.
This is their normal life.
Yeah.
Not cheerleading practice.
no,
not
no.
going to the American Girls.
And they didn't do
store.
any. The only thing they were doing was walking home.
Yeah, just had
That's
some
it.
brothers with poor
Walking
decision
home.
Yeah, and brothers who unfortunately put them in a situation that completely out of their control.
Yeah.
You know,
I like the thought of, you know, like if my home is a safe home and I'm raising my children right, it cannot stop there.
No.
You have to reach out just like you did. You know, go inside. I'll help you. And they're not your children.
So
yes.
For I'll tell you this too. For people coming home from prison, you know, a couple just, you know, things. You may have burned every bridge. Like you said, I was blessed. I came home to a supportive family.
Yeah.
I was very blessed. I got a great job. I've been able to meet great people.
Yeah.
But even if you burned every bridge,
yeah, destroyed
that
your
you have,
family before you left.
if you still want to succeed, there are resources out here for
that's
you.
good.
You just have to make the decision that you want to succeed.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Wrapping up,
Yeah.
because we are really running out of time. We really are.
I
But
tell
this
you,
is
I wish
so
we had
good.
so much more time because we
This
could
is
sit
so
and talk
good.
for a lot more. But I want to thank you all
Thank you for
for
having
being here, sharing your heart, sharing your knowledge, sharing your wisdom, you know, sharing your resources. That's exciting, and it's exactly what we should be doing.
Yeah,
You know,
I agree.
setting that example. It's no good to know about things and not share it. You know, there's too many people out here that need what we have. And I mean, you're connected to so many people that are givers,
Yeah.
you know.
I believe good people always find good people.
You said that over and
That's
over.
amazing,
Yes,
right?
that's-
You're right. You're right.
You know, I always like to say, you know, and we say it among all our friends, is your network is your net worth. So
Yeah, that
surround
human
yourself.
capital.
Surround yourself with positive people and people that want to succeed, and you will succeed. You're a reflection of the company you keep in life. So if you are surrounded by good people, I'm surrounded by two amazing young ladies, then you're going to succeed in life.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to always do.
This is good.
Well, I want to say God is so good. This has been an amazing 2 hours. And I thank God for Darwin for inviting us out here today.
I guess we should do like a
I
shout
think-
out to Darwin.
Thank you, Darwin.
Yeah.
I thank God that we had this opportunity to talk, to share. And I want everybody to just take a moment after you get off of here. Take a moment and just think about the things that were said today. Think about all of the resources that are out there. And just, you know, hold yourself accountable to how you're going to be a help. I thank everybody for tuning in. There is nothing like a table with some great people, good talk. I tell you, you're going to have a great weekend. I'm going to ask you to be looking out for Kimberly Clemens. That's who I am. My show is Chats and Chuckles, and it will be coming to you soon. Everybody, please be safe and enjoy yourself.